Okay, we are recording, my friend. XRP Venture, and introduce yourself.
Hey, so it's Cole on the crypto track. I'm finally here with XRP Venture. I'm active duty in the military. I just do this YouTube stuff on the side. It's just fun. It's interesting, and get to connect with people from the XRP community and just other people and just crypto in general. It's just fun and exciting to me.
Well, I agree with you. I saw on your channel that it looks like you did one with Crypto Mike.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
He came
Who
on.
else have you done one with?
So XRP Dave, he was somebody that I really connected with in the XRP community, and I've done one with XRP Agent. Me and him kind of
Oh,
went
sure.
on, and that
Sure.
was
He's
on
in
his.
Southern Cal, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely in California, and went on his channel, and we had a good conversation. Um, and then yep, I'm about to do one with Crypto Nation tomorrow. So that's
Is
looking
that
fun.
Andrew?
His name is James.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you're stateside, where do you live?
So it's kind of a tough question because I've lived in multiple places in the States. I've been in the military for 13 years, so I've moved around a good amount. My home of record is Washington State, so that's where I
Okay.
was born and raised.
Oh, you know who else is up there?
Who's that?
Might be Oregon. Is GXRP Perez. You know Perez?
I do. I'm actually scheduled to do a video with him pretty soon. Yeah. So
Yeah,
okay.
you guys would get along good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he seems like me and him. We kind of. I know when he first started, I was kind of tweeting out his stuff, and he was tweeting out my stuff. So yeah, he seems pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We've talked about doing it, but we haven't done one yet. And there's an age gap for me.
Yeah.
I just tell you one of my pet peeves is, a guy my age should act like a guy my age. I can't say the things that CKJ says and get away with it. It is not cool coming out of me.
Yeah, him saying the same thing as you. You're like, wait, what did you just say?
What did
Yeah.
Venture just say? What?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of look at you. You're the dad figure in the XRP community.
Yeah,
I've
well,
gotten a lot of.
and that's great. I like that. The last thing I want to do is go backwards. I'm glad I'm the age I am,
Yeah.
and quite honestly, I wouldn't want to. I don't want to be 30 again anymore anyway. But I'm just saying, I don't need to. It's like, oh, Cole's in the house. I don't have a house. This is an online chat, and I don't have it's hard enough for me, to say dude, much less, brother. So anyway, I'm obviously older and country, and there's a little bit of a divide there, but I'm with you though. I like doing these because I get to meet. I've done obviously CKJ's show. Crypto Mike and I have talked about doing one. Perez and I have talked about doing one. I did do On the Chain with Jeff and Chip, and enjoyed that, meeting those guys. Who else or what else? But it is a chance to get to meet somebody, because I really look forward to a big meetup. And I hope when we have a big meetup in Las Vegas, everybody's wearing a shirt with their Twitter handle, screen printed on the back. So of course you probably be able to find me because of the sombrero, but
yeah, exactly. Who's wearing the biggest hat? There you go. You remind me of the person who raised me for a good portion of my life, and so a little about me. I was kind of born in the country as well. You were raised with horses and cows and all sorts of chickens and animals and stuff like that. So he always walks around with a hat and just older and wiser. So when I watch your videos, I kind of think of him when I see you. So it's pretty cool.
Well, you don't get to be my age, or probably the age of your whoever raised you, without experiencing some of life's bumps and bruises. And for me, I try to share some of those things that I've learned along the way, things that people have taught me. And so for me, that's kind of the fun of this, is sharing some things, and I just get started on a few things. I'm pretty outgoing. I'll talk to anybody about anything for any reason.
Yeah.
So I usually have, the last thing you want to do is ask me, hey, you have any thoughts? You have any comments? Yeah, I've got a comment. I'm sure I do. Yeah, I don't care if
Yeah.
it's in church or where, but I'll have a thought.
Yeah.
So,
Don't ask you if you want something to say
yeah,
if you don't
you
really
don't
want to
want
hear
an opinion. Don't ask me if I have an opinion, because I
Yeah.
guarantee I have an opinion about it. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great, man. I'm sure we'll get along just great. Like I said, I just reading your bio on your Twitter, the first thing I was like, man, all right, yeah, he's a cool guy. And then I started
yeah.
seeing you a little more and saw your YouTube videos. And I'm still pretty new to the crypto market and the XRP community and all that. So,
Hmm.
just like I was talking to Crypto Mike, my brother's the one that got me on his channel, and so really I didn't really know him too well, and reached out to him. He was just, really humble guy, and was like, yeah, I'll go on. I was like, oh, really? That's cool. All right, cool. And then, I reached out to you, and you're all about it. And some other guys, it's really cool. Just these people that have been here so long, just are so open with doing stuff. So it's pretty
Yeah, I got another friend. Well, there's a bunch of them. I haven't talked to any of the girls. Spanish Fly or Crypto Queen Shy or Kame. Well, I did do Kame's show, but that was a political show. On my political beliefs. Because again,
cool.
if
Okay.
you ask me, I've got an opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, I've on the phone. I've talked quite a bit with Crypto Mike, with CKJ, just on the cell phone, with Handle, if you know Handle. He's in the CKJ Bullish Family Group, and
Okay.
um, and also King Blue down in Texas.
Wow.
So he's another great guy.
Yeah.
So I've learned a little bit about each of them, about their personal lives, through the telephone conversations, not so much through being on somebody's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for Mike, Crypto Mike, and that, he's turned his life around in the last 4 years. I did that. I don't know how old he is, but I'm guessing he's in his mid 30s. But, that's when I did. I went through a big come to Jesus moment and went back to
Yeah.
church and got out of the bars and quit honky tonking and really turned things around and
Yeah. At some point,
so
you really need to grow up. So yeah, that's great.
yeah, at some point you just got to decide, okay, I've done that, and it's not actually for me. I got to a place where, like, this is not who I had planned to be. I was very aggressive as a young man, even at 21 to 26 in business, and so um, by the time I was, I don't know, 35, and I had run my life into the ground and lost everything, I really just got to a place where, like, this is not who I planned to be I had big goals to be a millionaire by
Yeah.
30 and all of that stuff. And so, anyway, so yeah, I had that wake up call, and I've, it's been 25 years since then. And I'm grateful every day that I'm,
Yeah.
clean and sober and have a second shot at life. So that's
That's
kind of,
awesome. I know it's been 25 years, as you just said, but yeah, congratulations. I'm glad you found it, and
thanks.
and you're working toward that, and it's a continuous thing. So every day you go by,
Oh
continuing
yeah.
in the ways you're doing it, you're still on that right path. So that's great.
I believe me, I know what I know what every sense, all my senses still know what the cigarettes are, what a cold beer is at the end of a hard day, and I remember and know it all well.
Yeah.
But I don't have any cravings for it at all. And I will say this though, I remember in my first few days, and I mean few days, I went to church, and I remember hearing some guy out in the hallway or the foyer talking about how he was 8 years sober. I thought, man, I can't wait till I'm 8 years sober. And I was barely 8 days, you know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, pretty soon I was 8 days, and then it was 8 months, and then it was 8 years. But for me, because of my personality, because if I'm going to do something, I just do a bunch of it. I jump in with everything.
Mm-hmm.
For me to get away from that world and that life, I moved up here to the mountains and didn't want to be around any bars or girls or anything. And
Good for you. I mean, that's the hardest thing, you know, especially, you know, 'cause it's easy to find temptation in places like that. So when you go out and you have that foresight to remove yourself from that
yeah.
before it's even a temptation.
Well, I was managing country bars in Phoenix.
Oh, wow.
And so I managed one of the biggest 33,000 square foot nightclub in a
Wow.
country bar in Phoenix. And then I managed a few others. And I could dance and I could put a cohesive sentence together. And so I knew a bunch of people, and a bunch of people knew me. And I needed to get out of there completely, geographical change, because I need to get away from anybody that knew me in that life. Nobody in that life could imagine me standing up and giving a talk in church. And nobody hearing me give a talk in church could imagine me being who I was in that bar.
Oh, player Bill.
Yeah, well, yeah, what are you going to do? But what I was trying to get to is that ultimately, the only way I could get away from that completely was to immerse myself completely in the gospel. And I needed to find out, and I was 35 years old, and I needed to find out for myself, for sure, you know, what's this whole church thing about? I didn't want it to be my dad's testimony or some seminary teacher or, you know, bishop or anybody. I needed to find out for myself, what did I believe and what did I know? So I needed to read for myself, come up with my own questions, and then find and research my own answers. But I would just, all day long, I was in construction, and I would just go to the bookstore and I get a book on tape. Heck, I think we still had cassette tapes back then. It might have been CDs. Anyway, the point is, I just put it in the truck and just let it play. Now I'm jumping in and out of the truck, going from job to job, so I would miss parts of the tape. Well, would you leave that tape in there for 2 months, playing over and over again?
Yeah, you
I
got
would
the
get
whole thing memorized.
At some point, I got all the parts.
Yeah.
And I just did that over and over and over again, learning. And oh, I never do that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so,
you know what apologetics is?
no.
Yeah, so apologetics, it comes from the Greek root from apologia, and what that really means is like a defense. So it's not necessarily like you're apologizing, but it's a defense. So when you hear apologetics, like especially Christian apologetics, it's people who go and defend the faith. So that's kind of why I studied, started doing that in college, studying, you know, just defense for Christianity, you know, just, it's a good way for me to be able to evangelize and answer some, you know, I might have an answer to someone's questions that are truly seeking it. They don't believe it because of a certain issue, you know, and then we have a discussion about it. And I just think it's a good way to open up in conversation. And yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't think we were recording when we first got on and started talking to each other, but you know, like we said then, it's really frustrating because when you love the gospel, you do want to share it. Yeah. And all too often, nobody else wants to talk about it. And it's
right. It's right. And I kind of equate it. I can say it here because, you know, this is the XRP community we're talking to mostly.
Same thing.
Yeah. So when I go out and talk to people about XRP or digital currencies, and they're like, oh, you're crazy, all this, and there's all right. And I kind of relate it to the gospel, and you try to go and you spread the gospel because really that's the most important thing we can talk about. If we believe that heaven and hell is real, then that's the most.
This entire world has been created for that one purpose.
Exactly. So if
everything else is just busy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If we believe in eternity and what we do in this life determines where we go, for all eternity, that's the most important thing we can do. So yeah, I'm all for spreading, XRP awareness and digital currency awareness, but the gospel, that's really should be our number one thing.
Oh, we
So
should do a Sunday show
hey, I'd be down. I'm
and
down.
just
Yeah.
talk about different religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Because I grew up on the East Coast, and that's one thing. And then I came out here, and for me, when I went on my little pilgrimage, trying to find out where did I, first you got to come up with some questions,
Yeah.
and then you got to kind of go through those questions and find out, well, who has an answer that rings true to your heart and mind. And so I went on that little journey, and so I've got an opinion. Got an
No, you
opinion
don't. No way.
about, ask a gospel question. I got an opinion about what I think happened. Anyway. So, but yeah, I would love that. That would be fun. In fact, I'm going to do a separate YouTube channel just about the gospel.
Hey, I'd be honored. I'm always, if you look at my Twitter bio, I put Jesus #1 on there for a reason. And I made the whole thing about, XRP and, it's crypto tracks. And it's not really my name on there, but really, it's Jesus and our family and what we're doing. And then it's, the whole reason why I made my Twitter, because I didn't even have a Twitter before I learned about digital currencies. And I was actually watching some YouTubers out there and
If
it
you
got me
want to
on
know
there.
the truth, my biggest interest in digital currency is trying to get $100 million.
Yeah. I mean, that's that. How are we going to do it? I think that's the quickest way. Someone like, at least me, I know you have a bunch of businesses and you, you could do some awesome things. For someone like me, I look at, the price of Bitcoin and I've done this in my videos. When it first started out, obviously, it was way before people like us knew about it, but it was 0.00006 or something crazy like that. And putting in, $100 in it at that point would be worth, hundreds of millions just
Right.
from that alone. And so when people say, oh, it's impossible, it's crazy, it's already happened in the past. If you put $900 into XRP when, it was first a thing, and you waited for the all-time highs. Of course, buying all-time lows and selling all-time highs is unrealistic. But again, if it was just $900, that would turn into $1 million. So it's not impossible. It's happened in the past, and if we look at the use cases for it, it's just unimaginable things that can happen. So
Well, the reason I brought that up, and I even said that, was that, again, not to make this the Sunday show, but Scripture says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God and not riches." But then, when you know the gospel, then when you seek riches, ye will do good with them, which is what I'm trying to do. I want $100 million because I want to spend the rest of my life seeing how far I can spread that out amongst other dads and husbands that are struggling and having a hard time, because there's nothing more crushing than worrying about how you're going to keep the lights on for a dad. When his wife won't hardly talk to him because she's ticked off because they don't have any money.
Yeah, and I think it's something important to realize, and this is just a real self-reflection for me, is we talk about, hey, when I make $1 million or $100 million, whatever, I'm going to start doing all this good stuff. What are you doing right now with the money you get, and really what we're doing right now as far as our are you giving that to God at all, or because really it's all God's money, and I know I fall short of that all the time, because I'm just, it's kind of tight right now. And I could put this over here. I could put it over there. But at the same time, I'm like, I get all this money. That's when I can, I can spread it all around. So for me, I really want to do that. And I already have goals and this is what I'm going to do. But that's, I just
Let me pose a hypothetical situation to you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you weren't in Germany and we weren't worlds apart, and you were here at my house, if I bought you an extra large pizza, would you mind if I had a piece of it?
so I'm a pretty selfish guy. I'll just eat
You'd
the
have
whole
to have the whole thing, would you?
No, of course, of course. You buy me a huge pizza, of course. You
Well, and that's usually the answer. And
yeah.
that's I saw this on a poster once, and it was about paying tithing to the Lord.
Mhm.
And it used that example.
Yeah, I
If
see
he
where you're
buys
going with
you the
that.
whole pie, can he just have a piece?
Exactly.
I mean,
Yep.
like you said, it's not ours anyway,
Yeah.
and he doesn't need our money. He just needs to know if we're willing to. He just needs to know if he can trust us with it.
Yeah, and that's goes back to a shout out to XRP agent, where one of his videos he's walking through his city and there's just homeless people all over, and one of his goals is when XRP moons is to be able to get members of the XRP community together and really just change some lives over there, and I think it's awesome. It really shows his heart. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's good
no,
stuff.
I've seen some of that, and I agree with it, and I have plans along the same way. I don't understand why these cities can't build tiny homes that
Yeah,
these folks can utilize on a temporary basis. You know,
yeah, it's
so
sad.
if they
It's
don't do it,
sad.
we need to do it.
Yeah, it's easy to, it's easy for us to be in our positions and, but imagine really living on the streets. And I actually knew a guy, he was actually really successful in the military. And he was kind of opened up about his prior life, and he was actually in the military a long time ago as well. And he ended up getting kicked out and ended up, hitting rock bottom in his life, living on the streets. So that's why he's very, very, uh, generous to homeless, and he really feels for them just because he's been there, and he's just opened up my eyes to some things and how people look at you like you're not even a
Yeah,
human.
people wonder how could that even happen? Well, it can
Yeah,
happen. It can happen quickly.
yeah, it happens. And this guy, he found God. He found a woman that really turned him to God, and he ended up marrying her and really changed his whole life around. And he's back in the military. And like I said, he's very successful, really good, soldier in the military. So
Good deal.
yeah, just look at that, and it's just it's powerful stuff to really look at that and what can we do about things like that. So I'm all
Well,
about that.
my goal is to take my digital asset profits and put them in other businesses that make money and create jobs.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
with the money they make, I will create more businesses that create more jobs. And I don't mean just jobs. I mean, I'm not talking about, hey, here's a job that should cost, you should be paid $12 an hour, but we're going to pay you $22 an hour. I don't care if the business makes any money. I would take all of the profit of any business and spread it out evenly amongst the employees to try
yeah,
to give them more of a living wage than,
yeah.
but
That's awesome, and that's what you can do when you when you hit $100 million. You can do things like that. It's not
that's
gonna,
right.
if you
Because
have
out
a
of
generous
$100 million,
heart.
I need one.
Yeah, exactly. You have 100. If you have a generous heart, you can sacrifice for yourself and just make other people's be such a
Oh, no, no,
blessing.
no, no. I need the whole pizza.
Yeah, yeah,
I want
exactly
the
right.
whole, I want the
Yeah,
whole
with the whole
pizza.
thing.
I want that whole pizza.
I'll leave nothing but the crust.
No,
Yeah.
but all right, we better talk some cryptocurrency or nobody will watch this thing.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm sure you can maybe
Okay, so
edit
let me
stuff,
ask you a
but
question.
yeah.
Um, what do you think about February 14th?
Man, I think it's going to be, if we don't see price action, I think it's going to be a big day as far as either way. I think we will see some price action, but just looking at all that, and not to say I'm like the huge conspiracy theorist type guy, but I do think it's really interesting, and I do think there's been a lot of connections made. So I'm really curious to
Mm-hmm.
find out, after China's trade deals and see what's going on. Everything we see like the coronavirus and
Well,
all that happening. Go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, have you seen the last couple of days? In fact, it was on Crypto Mike. Crypto Mike is the one that tweeted it out originally that I saw about February 14th. Bearable Guy's got the calendar with the
Yep.
heart over February
Yep.
14th, and everybody's kind of wondered, well, what the heck is that?
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Uh,
he brought up. We actually talked about it on my channel yesterday, and just really going to that same thing. It's. I mean, why would you have a 14 and a heart and mix with around a bunch of February dates? So it sounds like Valentine's Day, February 14th. Something's happening. If it's going along that pattern as we're seeing in the Bearable Guy 123, his little cartoon picture, it's looking eerie similar. I just think,
well, I don't think anything's going to happen.
yeah, and that's why I said it might not be a price thing, but
No, you know
there.
what I think it is?
What's that?
I think it is a shout out to Trump.
Hmm. Why do you say that?
Well, it's the 45th day of the year. There's 31 days in January, right?
Yeah.
Then 14 more days in February. That's 45 days. Trump is the 45th president.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
basically, it means that Bearable Guy likes Trump, that maybe Trump is, in fact, and part of the whole conspiracy angle of things, that Trump is, that this thing is all pre-planned, pre-designed. Everybody knows what's happening, or at least they know what's happening. These trade deals have to get signed, have to get done, but Trump is the guy and the president that
Yeah.
makes it happen, that it happens on his watch. And
Wow.
so
No,
Bearable,
that is, I like that. And just like you said, it's happening on his watch. So he's still affecting things that in
Mhm.
the long run will affect price later on. So
Sure, if you're a
yeah, I
Bearable
could,
Guy and you do know something, and you are an insider, and you know that this thing's going to happen, whether they've got to wait till after the election to where Trump doesn't have to run again, and then he doesn't give a rat's behind. I don't care if they don't like it or not. We're going back to the gold standard. We're doing with this. We're doing that. We're getting rid of the Fed. I don't care what they
yeah.
say or do. Doesn't matter. I don't have to
Yeah.
run for office again.
Yeah, Crypto Mike, he was kind of talking about how there was some like training going on for the judges and getting them back to learning like this older style when we were back still on the
Well,
gold
it's not an
standard.
older style. It's common law.
Yeah.
It. You see, they like to. You watch any of the news channels, and they'll say, democracy 2020. We are not a democracy. We are a republic, or we're supposed to be a republic. And you don't want a democracy. A democracy means it is ruled, it is mob ruled. Whatever the majority wants, that's what you do. You've seen, look at what's happening in China right now,
Yeah.
with the coronavirus, and these people are losing their ever loving minds. They're jumping out of buildings. They can't take this isolation. They can't take the quarantine. They're losing their crap, and people
Mhm.
lose their crap. And you get people going crazy and losing their crap. That is no way to keep. You can't keep a society controlled like that. So the difference between a democracy and a republic has representatives from all those groups of people. So we have elected representatives that are
Yeah.
supposed to go and represent our will.
Yep.
An example of that is this Mitt Romney voting, to convict Trump on one of the impeachment counts. And then he gets up to explain himself, and he's like, well, I always thought this, and I always thought that, and I thought this, and the problem with that is it's not about Mitt Romney, or it shouldn't be. He should
Yep.
be up there. My constituents sent me here to do this. My
Yeah, exactly.
constituents, my inbox and my email is blown up with everybody wanting me to do this or to do that.
Yeah, and if you don't do that, then you're not
You're
going to the
representing
next
you.
level.
You're not representing the people that you govern, or
Exactly.
that have
And then
voted for you to go to Washington and represent their will and their wishes.
exactly, and you're going to get voted out. Next time it comes, it's going to be
You
someone else. Which, I mean, they're still living life anyway. I mean, they get out and they get so much benefits, and
yeah, it's
it's absurd.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the point is we have a republic, and so Mike and I have done a lot of talking about, um, the United States actually being incorporated and being a company. and then so he's gone and researched some of that, and the fact that Trump is supposed to restore us back to that republic that and you can look it up, the Act of 1871. Google that and see what comes
Okay.
up. Make a note of that. 1870 Act of 1871. Anyway, the problem is that, you know, we go to these courthouses and what have you, and it is these judges are judging based on the corporation, the United States Inc., not making, you know, they raise their hand and swear to uphold the Constitution. Well, in 1871, when they decided to allow this corporation to take effect, they actually created another constitution. They rewrote the Constitution for that corporation. So they, like when you go to court, you know why they're called acts?
No.
Or he's the acting judge? Because they are acting. They have their costumes. It's a play. It's not really the Constitution. So, you know, when he says, do you understand these charges? He's basically saying, do you understand that we're going to charge you money that you're going to pay to our corporation?
Wow.
And he said, you know, do you understand? In other words, he's asking you, will you stand under this company? Your driver's license is in all capital letters. Okay. Just like the United States Inc. is all capital letters. Okay. It's not the United States of America. It's the United States Incorporated. And they incorporated the United States to skirt the Constitution. So these federal judges are going by the incorporation and not the actual Constitution, the way our founding fathers wrote it. And what these judges are that Trump is supposed to be putting in place are federal judges that are supposed to understand the original Constitution and the common law that they are to practice the law under, and not the way these other guys. So you'll have to look it up. We've been running basically under what's called maritime law. And basically, when you go into a courthouse and they got that little swinging gate, when you step on the other side of that gate, it's like going into a foreign port, like you're a vessel, a vessel that's come into a foreign port. And now you have to obey the laws of that port, and they have jurisdiction over you. So when you cross that, when you go inside that little gate, you're in a foreign country.
Yeah. Hey, this is why I like listening to you, because you always just bring some knowledge, you know, bust the nuggets, you know. It's all right, cool. That's awesome.
So hopefully that's exactly what Trump is doing, is that he wants to restore the republic that we're supposed to have. You're all these people, our democracy and our drives me nuts, because we don't have a democracy, we have a republic. And we need to defend the Constitution of this republic. That's what you're sworn to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Both enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah.
And some of these politicians are treading on thin ice as being domestic enemies.
Domestic enemies, yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that. So
so you'll have to look that up, the Act of 1871.
Well, I have a note of it. I'll check that out.
All right. And then, and so we hope that's happening. You know, the Federal Reserve is just a private bank. It has nothing to do with the government. They give it a clever name, like the Federal Reserve. Sounds official. They say the president's going to make an appointee. He's going to appoint the chairman of the Federal Reserve. So it sounds like it's a government thing, because the president's doing some appointing. But he doesn't have any power. So it's all a show. And what basically has happened is the United States Congress gave this bank the authority to print money. And so basically they're just printing money. And back in the day, it was tied to gold.
Yeah. So
and you
it's
could
certain
literally take a
price.
dollar and go get a dollar's worth of gold. Well, it got to the point where that wasn't getting it done. And so they had to go off the gold standard 1 to 1 and do fractional. And I don't know what that fraction was. Let's just say it was 20%. So now $1, you could go get 20 cents of actual gold instead of a whole dollar's worth. But that meant whatever gold amount they were holding, they could print that much more money. They could print 80% more money because they only had to have
Exactly. And it
20%
just,
to $1 kind of a
yeah,
fraction
it just
deal.
keeps building on that inflation. And that's why,
Right.
I think it's dangerous when everyone's, oh, all the stock market's doing so well.
Well, of
It's
course it's dangerous.
time. Yeah, the fiat is just, they just continue to print, continue to print, continue to print. And
Well, in
it's
1971, Richard Nixon took us off the last bit of gold standard that we had because even that wasn't enough. They wanted to print more. So when we're off the gold standard completely and we're not tied to gold at all, that means, quite honestly, they can print
as
whatever they
much as they
want.
want.
Yeah. When money's created, it's when when somebody signs up for the debt. In other words, you go get a mortgage, right? You'll go get a $300,000 mortgage for your house. That money doesn't exist. But once you sign those papers, they print another $300,000 worth of money because they have a document that says you'll pay it back.
Yeah. Wow.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
I
crazy?
believe it. Yeah, it is. And
Yeah.
that's why when we talk about collapse of markets and depressions, that's why it happens, because this one isn't able to pay for itself, and then that was relying on its hierarchy of bank, and they
Well,
can
this is all a
all
house of
collapse.
cards. These
Exactly, they all
with
just
these
collapse.
governments and central banks, and that's why I've said it 100 times, and the fact that the price of XRP never moves, no matter what news comes out, should tell everybody that something very cool is happening in the background,
Yeah,
or this coin would act like every other coin. I mean, why in the crap what has Ethereum done lately?
it's been going up.
Well, but I
Ethereum's been
mean,
going up.
isn't
Yeah.
it like $200?
Yeah, it's like 200. Last time I looked at was like 220. I don't know if it went back down.
Why? Why is
Yeah.
it 200 and XRP isn't 2,200 or $22?
Yeah, I don't know, and especially just hearing just credible sources talk about how Ethereum is not as good as XRP. XRP is way faster. It's a
Well,
lot
sure.
more scalable.
Got a use case.
You know,
Got some great partnerships, with
yeah,
MoneyGram and others. I mean, it's just tentacles. Every rock you look under is ripple somewhere. So, I mean,
yeah,
with every one of those pieces of news, we should jump 25%, 25 cents.
yeah,
It's
and off
ridiculous.
of speculation alone, but it still doesn't. And then you have all these, you know, different maximalists of other coins that want to spread out the FUD of it. I don't get why they do it. And I know there was an article that came out, people getting paid to spread around this FUD. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah. There's people getting paid thousands of dollars to go and write articles of just of FUD.
Well,
Within a second.
ECK.
No, I don't.
Um,
ECK? No.
yeah, I can't remember what his little acronym stands for. Something King.
Okay.
Anyway, Crypto King, I think. Anyway, he puts out just a ton of articles about Ripple. Have never read one of them. I don't like to read the articles. It's
you read the headlines, right?
I read the headlines, and I just
Yeah.
try to ascertain from all the headlines and the buzz, and the vibe on the street, what's happening. But being 200 years old, when I see all this good news and all these partnerships and all that's happening, even Congress here lately mentioning XRP and Ripple finally.
Yeah. You look pretty good for your age, by the way.
Well, for 200, yeah, I'm not bad.
That's
Well, you
awesome.
should see, I'm 7'3", and I'm the
Nice.
perfect height for my weight.
That's good.
Yeah.
Old Goliath.
So anyway,
yeah.
but you would think that we'd be way above, 27 cents.
Well, here's the thing for me. I'm actually, I think it's a blessing from God to me, like finding out about it. One of my buddies told me about it, and I got really lucky. I got into XRP when it was like 30 cents, and I know there's people been on it, 390 and boom, boom,
Oh
boom,
yeah,
and
yeah. There's
continues.
people all
Yeah,
over.
exactly. So I really think it's just a way for more people to catch on, and that's why I actually started a YouTube channel. I wanted to go and spread the awareness, and hey, look what's going on. And I don't want people coming to me and like, hey, why didn't you tell me? I tried to
Well,
tell
no,
you.
I think that I think it's great. And I think it's awesome,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that people still have the opportunity to buy. But at some point, it needs to go the other way.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
you know,
Especially like I said, these people that's been in it, like yourself, and you've just been in it so long. You've been holding. When are you gonna get paid? When is it gonna come to fruition? So
listen,
I totally understand.
I'm not even talking for a moonshot. Maybe
Yeah.
just a low Earth orbit would be fine.
Hmm.
Let's just get to $9. Shall we?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So,
I did a little XRP exit plan, and my first point was at about $6 of taking about 5%, and just showed some numbers on that. And it was, it was a lot more that you would have got out of it, if you got it at 30 cents. I don't know what dollar cost per average is, but in my case, I used about 30 cents to lower, and it's just about a 30% increase on the money you took out or paid into at 5%. So that's that's awesome. So all the
well,
money invested, 30% more than.
I think it's sad that we're sitting here cheering on 30 cents.
Yeah, really.
Like that's a big move. It actually kind of frustrates me because I hear, oh, hey, XRP's up 8%. No, it isn't. It's been down 33%. So we're just, you know,
Yeah.
we're
So,
only down 25% instead of being down 33%.
yeah. Yeah.
So to me, until we get back where we were, we're not up at all.
Yeah.
So
No, I get you. And it's really, so the biggest thing is when you got in. So if you got in at $3, then you're down significant, but if you
well,
got
but you
in
can
at
get in
20
at three
cents,
dollars and buy the same amount at 19 cents, which they had the opportunity, excuse me, the opportunity to do. And now they're somewhere in the middle there. You know,
hmm yeah.
now,
And
now they're in at
that's what I
180.
kept trying to say. And that's what I kept trying to say. I mean, buy the dips, not a financial advisor or anything, but the more you get at a lower price, if you think it's going to go up, you're just lowering your
Wait,
dollar per average.
you're not a financial advisor?
No, no, not.
Well, this session is over. I thought you were a
Oh,
financial
I
advisor.
thought you were important. I thought
This
you
is
knew what you were
not
talking
helping
about.
me at all. I can't get some good,
Yeah,
you know, advice. Then what are we doing here?
yeah, it's funny. It's like, all right, let's wrap this up. Not a crypto expert, not a financial advisor, all that good stuff. Yeah,
Not a financial advisor. Just what is CKJ? Just documenting my journey.
yeah, exactly. I think it's good, and we're gonna have stories to tell. And you look back at this and be like, oh yeah, this is when XRP was
Oh yeah, yeah. Later,
25 cents.
later it won't matter. You won't remember with all that pain. But right
Yeah,
now, yeah, I'm. I can't believe we can't get to 390. It's ridiculous,
yeah, it
and I
is.
can't believe somebody can't tell us why.
Yeah, especially like David Schwartz, Brad Garlinghouse. You're like, man, come
Oh, did
on,
you see
you
his
got to
tweet?
know something.
You see
Which
his
one?
tweet today?
I'm not. I'm
Let me
not
see.
sure.
Let me see real quick. I don't.
Pull
I
it
don't know
up.
if you can. I don't know if I retweeted it or not. If so, it would be right on the
Let me
top.
see if I see who finds it first.
Okay. Well, it's under Joel Katz, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Have his profile up.
You got it? It
Last
was
thing I've
something.
seen from him was 3rd February.
Well, let's see. This one was, well, and the thing is, it might have been a retweet of something 3 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was something about don't miss the next Ethereum.
Yeah. And yeah, I did another video like that. And when I talked about Bitcoin being that, I kind of So how I took it was look at Bitcoin. It's a
Mhm.
number one in market capitalization. Look at Ethereum. It's number two in market capitalization. And then look at XRP. It's number three in market capitalization. You look at the use cases for all of those. XRP far surpasses Bitcoin and Ethereum. When is XRP's bull run happening? Like the for real one, like both
Well,
Bitcoin and Ethereum had.
and that's what makes you think that Christine Lagarde and, Mark Carney and Donald Trump and President Ying, I think is his name, Putin and I already said Mark Carney. But anyway, that's when you think all of these trade deals have got to have something in them, because he's mentioned it more than once. He mentioned it with Japan. He mentioned it with China. He mentioned it with the USMCA, the new NAFTA deal with Canada and Mexico, that these are good. This is about our new digital economy.
Yeah.
And, how can you have a digital economy without digital assets? He's not
Yeah, you
talking
need it.
about
And
just you and I both banking at Chase Bank, and I pay you $1,000 and they digitally move it from my account to your account. That's not a digital economy.
no. And that's the also when we talk about the ILP and interledger protocol and how it's all going to be transferred with the bridge
Oh,
currency of XRP.
speaking of that, did you see Powell today in that congressional hearing?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw little just
Snippets.
blurbs of it. But yeah.
One of the things he was asked, well, what he made the comment, well, with ledger technology, I'm not sure that would be good or great for the United States. And I responded in a tweet, but it was like, basically he's saying, because you can see where everybody sends the money. Well, how can you money launder if everybody can see the money? And that's,
Yeah, that really cuts the privacy out, and that's what Crypto Nation. Like I said, I'm talking with him tomorrow, and he was saying, yeah, it takes trust completely out of it. It doesn't like the privacy and trust. It's out. It's even more so visible to see because it's literally a track
well,
record
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. They don't like this technology because people can see what they're doing, and they don't want
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and that's why like some things people like Bitcoin as far as it's an anarchist type thing, and XRP is more with the government, with the banks, and that's why you get that FUD spread around. But at the same time, it just like you said, it can cut out a lot of the illegal activities because it highlights it. It's a lot easier to see what's going on when there's this here's the ledger,
I
here's
think
what's going on.
Bitcoin was created and used for nefarious activities
Yeah.
so that they could say, hey, we don't know if we like that technology because you can do nefarious things with it. As if you can't
Right.
do
You can do
nefarious
that
things
with
with
fiat.
cash. Yeah.
Yeah, you do the same thing with fiat. So every time people talk about that, it's like a gun.
Right.
You can save people with guns, or you can kill people. Or, you can go out and do horrendous things with it. Anything can be used for bad. Anything could be used for good.
Yes.
So it's based off the people and the person that's behind whatever it is. So
Right.
yeah, so there was actually a tweet, like a little battle thing going on between Matt Moonlambo and someone else, and he pretty much broke down someone's video that was trash talking XRP because XRP is faster and it does this and that it's going to be more it's going to be worse for people doing illegal activities. So he's like,
Right.
okay, because it's faster and because of this and that, you shouldn't use XRP. If that's what you're boiling down to, okay, cool. So it's pretty funny.
Well, I do think that I think this has been a plan and it's coming and I'm actually getting closer to the point every day in thinking that it's not going to happen till after the US elections. I think Trump wants to be the president that said, hey, I got rid of the US debt. I
He
put you
does.
back on the
He
gold
does.
standard. Your politicians should have never taken you off the gold standard. And I'm Trump and I put you back. And
Yeah, I could absolutely see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And um, he always quotes Andrew Jackson. And in fact, he just did it the other day. I don't know if it was in the State of the Union or what it was, but I remember hearing it and thinking, the two things that Andrew Jackson did, as I understand it, was one, he got rid of all of the debt of all the previous presidents. And the other thing he did was he got rid of the central bankers at the time.
Wow.
And so
Yeah.
Trump always quotes, I think he wants to do the same thing. I really believe he wants to get rid of the Fed and come up with, with the U.S. isn't authorizing anybody else to print, Federal Reserve notes. We print United States currency or United States digital currency, our own walled garden, and that we don't use the Fed. And if we really are a corporation, let's just bankrupt that corporation. Let's just take it to court and file a bankruptcy on that corporation and send all those fiat dollars. Hey, by the way, good luck, central banker, private bank guy. Sorry about that whole foreclosure thing or that bankruptcy thing.
Hey, we're living among some good times right now. There's so many things.
Be a heck of a year.
Big. Yep, it's gonna go so big. And sorry, wife coming through, but yeah, I just think that it's exciting times, and we're gonna see some awesome things.
Yeah, I think
excited for it.
I think it's going to be interesting to see. Although I don't think anything's going to happen February 14th, I do hope that we start to see some price action and something happens. I mean, we know that's when the U.S.-China trade deal kicks in, but quite honestly, with this coronavirus, I don't even know how their economy is functioning over there. There's reports that there's 150 million people quarantined and 50,000 dead, and that they are completely, obviously, lying about what's really going on. But
I hear the same stuff. They're trying to downplay it as if it's not as bad as it is, and we don't know.
Well, yeah, and they're like, hey, guys, don't shut your borders down. Don't. We got this. We got a handle on it. And
of course, they don't want to miss out on their funds. I was speaking with Crypto Thanos. Oh man, I didn't even mention him. Yeah, I did one with Crypto Thanos. He's another guy in the XRP community. Just did a live stream with him. Awesome guy. But when I was talking with him, he mentioned that imagine all the money, right? The money that's literal physical fiat that's transferred, and how the virus or the coronavirus can stay alive for 9 days without a body. So it can be on cash for 9 days, go to somewhere else and just spread like that as well. Or anything.
Yeah, I have not heard yet that it can be transmitted by currency, but I guess it could, because I did retweeted a video the other day of how the coronavirus is transmitted. And it shows this one guy sneezing, and he's on his hand, and then he grabs a handrail, and then a little girl comes by and grabs the handrail. So I guess if it could stay on the handrail, it could stay on a quarter or a dollar bill.
Yeah, and that's what he was getting at. He's like, it survives for 9 days. So yeah, that's of course China doesn't want it to, hey, take our money, take this, and we want that. It's gonna severely hinder their economy. So
yeah, it's going to, well, so what I'm saying is that obviously even though the trade deal kicks in on the 14th, I don't know if anybody's doing any deals at all. They don't want shipping containers going back and forth. I don't even know if the government over there would let them go back to their factories, at least yet.
Yeah, very interesting stuff.
A lot's going to happen. They say they need about 9 months to get a vaccine. 8 or 9 months from now, 8 or 9 months from now, the U.S. elections are happening, right?
Well, imagine all the people if there's already
how many would be affected by then?
Yeah, if there's already 50,000 dead,
right? That's a full-blown pandemic. Now,
it just gets faster and faster.
If Trump's reelected and doesn't have to run for reelection, well, you know what that means. He could declare, hey, we're getting rid of fiat currency altogether. We're going to have martial law. We're going to have all kinds of things because we got to control this. Could be a whole different program a year from now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's endless possibilities. So only time will tell.
Okay. Real quick. What's your channel again, and what should people go? Obviously, subscribe, hit the notification bell.
Yeah.
Tell them your
So
channel. How can they find
yeah,
you?
Crypto Track. Search that in YouTube, Crypto Track. Maybe we
Should
could put
pop
it in
right
the
up.
description. Follow me on Twitter. It's at crypto track underscore or crypto underscore track one. And follow me on Twitter. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much for having me on XRP Venture, Bill, wherever you want me to call you. It's been awesome. Like I said,
Everyone's
you kind
mine, man.
of you're like the father figure at XRP community, and love listening to your videos.
Thanks, man.
Love your spirituality and your big heart. I know there's gonna be some good things coming when this blows up. So
Well, you too, my friend. All right. Well, we'll definitely do it again, and I will shut this down now and see how it turned out, and see if we can't get it put together in a way that we could set it up for a live premiere, live stream.
yeah, sounds great. All right, thanks
All
a
right.
lot.
Thanks, man.
Take care. God
All right.
bless.
Bye bye.